Namaste, angels. Thank you for joining, liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, purchasing merchandise, energy healings, readings, all the many ways you support me, this channel, and my videos. I really do appreciate it. This is the bi-weekly reading for the sign of Gemini, me and my fellow Geminis for the period of today, December 2nd, through not next Saturday, the Saturday after that, the 15th. Not Saturday, Sunday, the 15th. And then Monday, we should have a brand new one, provided I am at all able to do it. And that means not only me physically, but also I won't know what that, until then, what the heck is going on with YouTube. If there are any changes that are noticeable that impact anything, because their new policies go into effect on December 10th. So that is next week. So we'll see what happens then when we get there. For now, this is our bi-weekly reading. And I think it's going to be good. I like the cards that I'm seeing here. Let's start with this one. Oh, look what's behind it. All right, so I don't know if you can see what's behind it. I'll tell you what it is in a second. This, of course, is the Six of Autumn, or the Six of Pentacles. For me, this is a card all about exchange and unconditional love, generosity, and sort of gifts and presents from the universe, help, assistance. It gets you through. It gets you through. It can come in the form of actual money, time, energy, just a cleared path, unexpectedly, like just miracles from heaven. I love this card. I love the energy of this card. Your success and prosperity have allowed you to pay off debts, to acquire wise loans, and to receive a grant or a scholarship. In return for heaven's blessings, be sure to share the wealth with others through donations of time or money to reputable charities. Yeah, it's not just that, though. This card, this description doesn't do it justice, because, or at least the way I feel about it, it really is about unconditional love, about the ability to both give and receive, and allowing love to pass both ways. It's one of my favorite cards in the entire deck. And I'm happy to see that right behind it, also upright, is the King of Summer, the King of Cups. So talk about unconditional love and generosity. I mean, that's what he's all about. The King of Cups, or Summer, is a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Maybe a Scorpio. We got Major Arcana card Death sitting here too. And I think I did the Scorpio reading already, and I think actually they had a bunch of air show up, including the Queen of Air, albeit in reverse, in the position of love and romance. I believe so. So some of us may be dealing with a Scorpio in a romantic way, or interested in a Scorpio, or have one that is interested in us and wants to exchange with us, purely out of unconditional love, wants to both give and receive to and from us without agenda, without any bullshit attached, any, strings that we weren't informed about, and what can they get from you, manipulation, narcissism, all that kind of none of that, just pure love being exchanged. Very possibly with a direct water sign, but it does not have to be. It could be any and everybody. A trustworthy person, right? That's all you need. A trustworthy person, regardless of the sign, or a relationship enters your life. So a relationship that you can trust, Gemini, or a person that you can trust, even if it's not on a romantic level, enters your life. You may receive wise and compassionate advice from someone who speaks directly from the heart. So that may be the form in which your assistance or help comes. That may be why the Six of Autumn is here, because somebody perhaps older than you, a father, a mother, I said father first, that's the king, but these things aren't gender specific, or even, sexuality specific, or even archetype specific. It can apply to any and everybody, but it might be an older gentleman, who shares his wisdom with you, or shares something with you, and that serves as some sort of aid or assistance to you in a time of need. Sometimes this stuff shows up in the form of like a scholarship to a grant, credit that you've applied for. Something comes through, and it helps you. So those are really nice cards to have. The next one's upside down, and it's not one of my favorites anyway. It's the Four of Pentacles, which some people, tend to like. And for me, it's all about like staying in relationships that you need to get out of, continuing to work a job that you should have been quit. It's that sort of thing. So I'm glad that card is upside down and, shouldn't apply to us here. Our other overall energy from the Rider-Waite deck is Major Arcana card 14, Temperance. Also one of my favorites. Represents the planet Jupiter, like one of my favorite planets, if people have favorite planets. So yeah, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. Jupiter is also the planet and the god of karma, luck, expansion, growth, optimism, just everything wonderful. I was going to say everything wonderful. Yeah, everything wonderful. I always say that about Venus, though. So it's like my mother. She always tells my son he's her favorite grandson, and meanwhile he's her only grandson. All the rest are girls. So yeah, I feel that way about Venus too. But yeah, I love Jupiter. Anyway, this card also, for me, can be indicative of an Aquarius that's particularly significant in your life. Not just Sagittarius. In the tarot, traditional tarot, it does represent the sign of Sagittarius. However, this is a water bearer that is on the front of the card, and I don't care what anybody else says. Am I wrong? Is this not a water bearer? This is an angel standing in a pool of water, pouring water between two vessels back and forth. To me, that's a water bearer. So definitely an Aquarius could be significant, or maybe somebody like me who is both a Gemini and an Aquarius, Gemini sun, Aquarius moon. Maybe somebody's an Aquarius rising, or is dealing romantically with an Aquarius, or has a friend or a close friend or a family member, somebody who's significant to them, somebody about whom they have some sort of feelings or emotion or connection. Aquarius or Sagittarius. Now, more importantly, this card is about balance and healing and holding. I always say healing and holding when it comes to this card, because to me, it's restorative. If you lost something, if you felt like you were lacking something, Temperance shows up, you get it back. It's that karmic energy, and maybe it's in the form of some sort of assistance, right? So you lose something, say I lose $5. I'm not going to get my actual $5 back necessarily, but what if somebody else says, here, let me pay for your coffee at Starbucks. That's $5. So I'm made whole somehow by way of the universe, right, interceding in my life. That's what Temperance is all about for me. But it can more literally be about balance in your friendships, with your romantic partners, family needs, so finding that perfect amount of, both work and play can be important. This can be about balancing your finances. And some of us may have to do that because we have Major Arcana card Death in the position of work and finance, which isn't so great. I'm not very excited about that. So we may have to, check our balances and make sure everything's okay, and that we can get through this period without, too much difficulty. Again, we have stuff to look forward to too, so I wouldn't panic about this, but I'm going to explain to you what it means to me. However, having picked this up, I get to see this. It's the Knight of Pentacles. So that's pretty awesome. When the Knight of Pentacles upright shows up in a reading, it means finally, the financial news break help that we've been waiting for has arrived or will arrive very soon. I think it's courtesy of Jupiter, because this week, you know what happens? Yep, Jupiter enters Capricorn, and he's going to be there for like a whole year. And for us Geminis, listen to this part. It just gets better and better. Capricorn is our 8th house of shared income. And look what's behind the Knight of Pentacles upright. It's the Two of Wands. So talk about shared income. This is all about partnerships, right? It's a 2. It's wands, it's fire. So it's Jupiter's element, right? Fire, ruler of Sagittarius. And definitely we could be getting like a major boost from Jupiter in our partnerships. And maybe specifically as it relates to shared income, assets. So this could be this could mean like cohabitation with somebody. This could mean, coming together in, like I said, a really healthy relationship that is balanced. It's no one person, begrudging the other and burdening the other or feeling burdened by the other. It is, 50-50 or 100-100, however you want to look at it. And we're both putting in our part and doing our part and exchanging love in a very equal and healthy way and allowing love to pass both ways and giving it freely without expecting something in return. I mean, that's what this is showing me, but it can also be a little bit more literal than that and really have to do with funds. So like one person, let's say, comes into some money, is made whole through some situation, some experience, right? Assistance comes in, they get some money or they get an asset or something, but you're their partner. That doesn't mean necessarily romantic partner, but that certainly can be the case. But you come as a set, right? There's two of you. Maybe it's a parent and child. Maybe it's, a brother and sister or other, dynamic of siblings or BFFs. It's like, well, if I'm good, you're good. That's what these cards are saying to me, these three cards. So if either Gemini comes into something, or somebody close to Gemini comes into something and shares it, or the pair come into, some sort of abundance, because that's what Jupiter is all about. See, there I go again, saying something about Jupiter that I typically say about Venus, but it's true for both. Also, behind this, so behind the Two of Wands, which is also the quintessential divine union or twin flame card of the tarot as well. So this could be a very, very special partnership that we're talking about as well. Also behind it is the Four of Swords. This couple may have previously taken a break, or one may have taken a break and, the other didn't have a choice, right? I'm taking a break. I need a break. And now we're recovering that time. Like Congressman Maxine Waters, I'm reclaiming my time. That's what that's telling me too. So somebody could be coming back into your life that had exited for a time or taken a pause, fallen back maybe in the amount or degree of time that they had been spending with you previously. And that partnership coming back together, perhaps courtesy of Jupiter. I have a whole video about Jupiter that I've been wanting to do but haven't been able to get to yet. All right, so let me, for those of you who have never seen me do this before, just explain the placements really quickly. So this card here is going to be the one that most directly, relates to us or represents us. And this one is like surrounding. So it could be your energy as well, but also perhaps that of family, close friends, co-workers. This is work and finance, as I mentioned, and this is love and romance. So, the card that most directly represents us, it is the Three of Pentacles. Now, any and all threes in the tarot can potentially represent what I like to call parties of three, which may or may not be a love triangle, does not have to be a love triangle, but it can be. So I want people to understand that. But it's a very positive card otherwise. And it might be a positive card for you with a love triangle. Some people are into parties of three, romantically. No judgment from me. That's fine. If that's what this represents for you. It's a very positive card, especially as it relates to work and career, if you have any questions about that. And that's why I'm saying, despite the fact that death is here, which otherwise would not necessarily mean such good things. Death in your position of work and finance can mean, basically like your days are numbered, and not necessarily because you're not performing at the job. It just could be one of those situations where, like there's too many people doing the same job. I forget what that's called. Redundancy, I think it's called. An excess, sometimes they call it. I remember a bunch of the teachers at the high school my daughter just graduated from in June. After graduation, a bunch of the teachers were excessed. And that means they were let go because there was somebody else already teaching the same thing or doing the same job. And so I guess that's the same thing as redundancy. If that's going on at your job, you could be, Gemini, you could be in a potential position to be the one that gets, fired or laid off or however that works. Especially if you don't like the job, you may be sort of acting like you don't want to be there. And so that could be how they end up choosing you. So if that's not the case, if you are in a job that you don't want to lose, but you've maybe even been feeling it and sensing it yourself that something's going down there, you may want to, put more effort into what you're doing. But also at the same time, try to start thinking about a plan B, Gemini. And again, I'm back to this Three of Pentacles, though. I don't think, even for those who lose their job, for whatever reason, like let's say, the company for which you work, they go out of business completely. So technically you lost your job there, but they have a sister company and that hires you right away. It could be something like that. Like with the other cards that are here, I don't see, really a Gemini that's out of work, long, if at all. So yeah, the Three of Pentacles says basically keep doing what you're doing. It says you're doing the right thing. That's why it's a little funny here with Death in this position. Even in jobs, jobs that we work that we don't get a paycheck, you may feel with the Three of Pentacles appreciated. Maybe you're a housewife and you just feel like you're being taken for granted. And that could be a reason why Death is showing up here. It's like you have something to talk about, especially with the Seven of Wands in your position of love and romance. You have something to talk about with your partner. The Three of Wands can mean the same thing. Like we got to put some stuff on the table in a relationship. So yeah, even like a housewife or something that you're doing that which you don't get paid. Or basically what I'm trying to say is whether you get paid or not, whatever you consider to be your work and where you put your efforts, you are doing a good job, even if you can't necessarily tell. This card is saying it for you. The people around you who rely on you, who are watching you, who benefit from your work, they appreciate your effort and the quality of the work that you do. So let's make sure that we're clear about that. Also, for me, the Three of Pentacles is about abundance that is earned. So it's about something coming into you, some sort of, again, asset, or, actual financial blessing or increased income, whether temporary or permanent, something that's coming into you because you earned it. And it also can be about ascension and about the universe giving you a raise, promotion, grant, help, something, the universe paying you off, rewarding you, awarding you because you earned it. Maybe not through some sort of labor down here, but through your karma, through your good works, right? For the universe, toward humanity, you're being paid. And when the universe or God promotes you, it's better than being just promoted down here because it also ends up showing up down here too. As above, so below, right? That is, one of the laws of nature. And so, this is an awesome card. So why am I saying that it's weird on top of Death? Let's talk about that. But before I do that, let me just mention, again, as it relates to love, this Three of Pentacles, it's a good omen. Okay. Also, especially if you're already in a committed relationship, you're with somebody and, or you already, know in whom you're interested or who's interested in you and you have an eye on each other or something like that, then it tells you that the person, your person of interest, they see you in a really, really good light. Okay. They admire you the way you admire them. And they think that you embody the qualities of the person that they're looking for and somebody that they could really be with, even if love hasn't yet, really sparked or developed. So you might need to have some patience. Threes can also be about, the need for patience or whatever, because we're creating something. Threes are about creation and creativity also. So we're creating something is building. We can't rush it. It's like being pregnant, right? With a potential relationship or increase in financial abundance and something. Definitely a need for patience when it comes up. And as far as finances, another good omen. So I talked about work, but finances, definitely it's a good thing. It's like your ships come in. In fact, on this one, the one that sits next to it, the Three of Wands, there are little ships there. And this guy, this merchant, like, is standing here literally watching his ships come in. There's three of them. But this one means something similar. It's not like I hit the lotto, in a big lump sum or whatever, just money out of the sky. It is abundance that is earned. Like I said, it's payment for the work that you've done. So keep on doing it. You're doing great. All right. So now it makes more sense for me to go into death, maybe. Do I want to do that, or the Three of Wands? A little bit more about the Three of Wands. Let's just go to death since I keep talking about it. All right. So death is one of my favorite cards too, actually, because anytime it does mean an ending, it can mean simple transition, like, moving from one phase to another. Sometimes it means an ending, and when it means an ending, it means a complete ending. Like, we're not 1 foot in and 1 foot out. We're not halfway still in the job or halfway still in the relationship or whatever. We're done. We're done. At least in that capacity, whatever capacity that was. If we're starting something, or we're continuing another way. It's something brand new. It's a brand new path, right? So that's why it's a little weird sitting here with these other cards, because these are all about, like I said, abundance that's coming in, and this is about the potential end to a stream or phase, particularly as it relates to work and or finance, because that's the placement in which it landed. So I think I'm making sense of it for you guys. I hope I am. But you know what? I'm going to pull. I've been pulling 3 cards, for further clarification of the love card, whether I explained it or not, which I've been explaining it every single time. But I've been pulling 3 additional cards of sort of like, now that we found love, what are we going to do with it, is what I've been calling it. And so I've been pulling 3 other cards to supplement. I'm going to pull 3 for death also, just to get an idea. But I think, again, the worst that can happen is that what somebody is doing in terms of work comes to an end, but very, very quickly there is a new stream, because they deserve a new stream. And the universe has recognized that. Three of Wands also has to do often with one's work, whether you work outside or inside the home, again. And it means, similar to what I said about the Three of Pentacles, that your work is appreciated and respected, and you should be, giving yourself some credit for it. You may not be realizing or acknowledging it yourself, but other people are. So, make sure that you're aware of that. Same thing with finances. If they aren't good already, going good already, we can expect that in the very, very near future. We've got all these cards that are indicative of that. The Three of Wands, Three of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, Temperance. The only one that says otherwise is potentially death, but yeah, it's sort of outnumbered here. So yeah, the Three of Wands is, again, about this person's ship is coming in, or ships are coming in, and things are getting better. So if they haven't already begun to get better, then they soon will. Even if something funky or weird goes on with your job, don't panic. Don't panic. Also, as it relates to relationships and love, similar to Temperance, this can be about balance. I mean, it's like your love relationships are likely going well too. As long as the person that you're with, is treating you like in a balanced way, as like an equal. It's like an equal and not taking you for granted. If you feel that you're being treated less than, and you've made yourself clear already, you've expressed how you feel, and there's no change, then maybe you are with a narcissist. And with it crossing death, death can be about clinging to a relationship that is dead and gone, but it's familiar. So we try to stay in it, like being with somebody for the sake of having a relationship rather than be single. And you don't want to do that either. It's definitely time, with death showing up right here in the position next to the love cards, just looking at it in terms of what it means in general as it relates to love. If you're doing that, it's time to get out. If your relationship is imbalanced, all right? and be patient because something else much better is on its way to you. Very possibly a soulmate relationship, perhaps even what people call a divine union or a twin flame relationship on its way to you after a small pause or break. Sometimes these cards also can mean that we need to spend some time loving ourselves, as it relates to love and relationship. And if we want to, especially if we want to have relationship with others coming up. If you've recently met somebody new, in terms of the Three of Wands, this person also holds you in very high regard, right? They look at you like this merchant, this well-to-do person, not necessarily financially, although that may be the case for you too, but they just hold you in very, very high regard and esteem. And if you're looking for love, but you haven't found it yet, or you feel as though, again, you're not appreciated, nobody's checking for you or whatever, it may be because you've put too much time and effort and focus on work and career. And so you need to get out there and have some fun. So that brings us to the Seven of Wands. Let's talk about this. Seven of Wands is in our position of love and relationship. And believe it or not, it's a good card. If you're already in a committed relationship and you got something to say to your mate, like I talked about with the card that's right atop it. So these are going together for some people. Got something to say to your mate, go ahead and speak your mind, and it'll help the relationship. It'll improve the relationship as long as it is received well. If you're with somebody who can receive it well. For the most part, people are not going to be with narcissists, but somebody it seems is. So when this is, it's definitely going to help your relationship. And again, if you're single and you're outside looking for somebody, you may meet somebody in an unusual place for you. So maybe it's because you listened to this advice and you finally got out and you went and did something that you don't typically do because you're typically working all the time or focused on work all the time. And then boom, you meet somebody, really special. And again, possibly a soulmate relationship. So on that note, speaking of soulmates, let's see what else comes up. I'm going to pull 3 cards for additional cards for love. And I'm going to pull 3 cards for this work and finance position as well with the Death card. The way I like to do that is by starting out with the cards upright and turning them around and pulling the next 3 upright cards. They're now the same for Death. All right, so let's do Death first. In terms of work and finance. So like I said, if something happens where you lose the current job that you're in, or you don't get, you've applied for something for a job, you're not working, you've applied for a job, and the one that you had your eye on doesn't come in, do not worry. Another opportunity is coming in for you when the Prince of Spring shows up. And this also can be representative of Jupiter himself giving you an opportunity, or even Mars himself giving you an opportunity. The planet of action and aggression, could be taking action in your life on your behalf, or Jupiter again blessing you with gifts, growth, expansion, paying you back for your karma that's been good. Passionate, charismatic, confident, and restless. Also, this card could represent a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, or someone likened to those traits and attributes and that's significant in your life or significant in work and career, or will be. An opportunity arises that needs your attention right away. You're going to have to decide, am I going to take this job or not? Am I going to sign this contract or no? Moving quickly is important, yet there's nothing that you can't handle if you follow your own inner guidance. So pay attention to your intuition. It's going to be helping you along the way to tell you what to do. 2 of Winter or Swords can mean not only do you have to make a decision, but that you've been undecided and indecisive because the opportunity that you have is maybe sort of off the beaten path and you're not sure about what other people will say about it. So specifically as it relates to work and finance, let's say You're in school to be a doctor. That's awesome. But you really would rather be a painter. And, your parents are probably like, oh my goodness, you want to be a starving artist, when you could be a big doctor. That's not where your heart is. So you want to change. Well, like I said, meeting somebody in an off-beaten path. I meet somebody in this place that's totally unusual to me. What am I going to do? So if it's seeping into the area of your love life. Procrastination and worrying about what others will think is blocking you from making a decision. If you're torn between your own desires and someone else's, follow your inner guidance. So again, very important that you pay attention to your intuition, your heart, your soul, what you feel like it's telling you to do in this situation. And lastly, Major Arcana card 5, Unity, or the Hierophant. Embrace this time of deep spiritual growth. All right, so again, Jupiter stepping in, giving you growth, helping you with growth. You may feel called to act as a mentor, to find a new teacher, or to spend time with others who are also on a sacred path. Major Arcana card 5, Unity, is actually the Hierophant in the traditional tarot. It represents the sign of Taurus. Uranus, the ruler of the sign of Aquarius, is currently located in Taurus, and that may be what's come up for you. You may want to be wanting to do something toward humanity. Aquarius is the sign of freedom and humanitarianism. So maybe you want to take on, a spiritual job, or, you want to go off and be like a missionary or some other, something that aids humanity. And that's being frowned upon, or you think it'll be frowned upon. And so you haven't taken advantage of an opportunity. It could be something like that. The Hierophant also tells you to go and be who you want to be and do your own thing. If people don't align with your vibration at present, you don't want to lower your vibration to meet them. Let them grow to come up and meet you eventually. But in the meantime, maybe you need to take a break from those people, part ways, and do what's in your heart and soul to do. Also, the Hierophant can be about, like I said, higher institutions like college, commitments, contracts, so maybe signing a contract for a new job, accepting it, or something like that could be coming your way. Or maybe you're going into your own business. So maybe you're ending working for someone else. That phase of your life is what's coming to a complete end, and you're going to start something for yourself. In terms of love, Gemini, look at it. Look what it is. It's another 3 of Pentacles. Can you believe it? Just like this one. So like I said about the 3 of Pentacles, really, really awesome card as it relates to love. Your most satisfying and profitable career, not just career, relationship, anything in your life, comes from following your passions, listening to your heart, and doing what brings you joy. So again, it's not other people. We got to make sure that we're listening to our intuition, our heart, our soul. What are the butterflies in your stomach telling you? Is your heart skipping a beat? All that kind of stuff. Your life purpose is best fulfilled by allowing your talents and true self to shine forth out into the world. Now, again, the 3 of Autumn can also mean that you're involved in some sort of party of 3 relationship, maybe even a love triangle. And there is competition involved in your love life. Somebody else wants your mate. Somebody else wants you. There's somebodies on both sides. Somebody wants you. Somebody wants them. Occasionally, you may experience clashes with others. If you decide the matter is worth your energy, then do what you can to minimize the conflict without sacrificing your goals or beliefs. On a more positive note, for me, this card can mean for me be representative of like the planet Mars for me, and it's all about active hot pursuit and going after what we want too. As is the 7 of Wands, if you take it in a straightforward kind of way. 7 of Wands about defending your beliefs, your desires, your wants. So, and once you decide that you set your sights on something and you stick to it and you stand your ground. Lastly, the High Priestess, Major Arcana card 2, which for me represents the sign of Gemini. And in traditional practice of the tarot can also be about a water sign. So again, maybe a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, like the King of Water, King of Cups. This is a time to pause and to reflect, not to take action. Trust in your spiritual gifts as nothing is hidden from your divine intuition. What does that mean? It doesn't mean just do nothing, period, and do nothing and go on about your life. The high priestess does nothing until she decides to do something, right? And that something that she decides is based on her intuition, her gut feelings, what her soul is telling her, what her wisdom is telling her. She's got street smarts too. She has like really awesome common sense, and once she takes all those things into consideration, then she makes a decision and she makes a move. And maybe she'll tell you what that move is going to be, and maybe she won't. And maybe she won't because she's in competition with somebody. And so she's going to keep her stuff like under her sleeve, as they say. Another reason, meaning for the high priestess, and maybe particularly as it relates to love, is again being attracted to somebody that's like different. So like I said, meeting somebody in an unusual place, maybe you guys are different. Maybe, two different religions. One's Jewish, one's Muslim, one's black, one's white, one's short, one's tall, one's fat, one's skinny. One's a nerd and one's a jock or a thug, or I don't know, different, stark differences, but you find your way together. One's old, one's young. You find your way together despite those differences. Also, the high priestess can mean that you are extremely attractive in this period. A lot of people drawn to you, a lot of options coming up, and that can be what the competition is about too. Who am I going to choose? What am I going to do? That's, of course, only for the singles. Unless, again, you're into the party of three thing, in which case, again, no judgment from me. I hope that you guys have found this reading helpful. I'll be back for you in 2 weeks. If you did find it helpful or you enjoyed it or both, please do actually like the video if you liked the video. Give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And also, if you are not yet subscribed, please do consider hitting both the subscribe button and the bell button. If you would like any services from me, reading, energy healing, merchandise, you just want to talk to me and we can be friends and all that kind of stuff, all the information to do any and all of that will be in the description box below. Namaste.